I got to tell you, I was everything I saw from Buck Showalter yesterday was everything that I expected. It was a home run of a first press conference as the Mets manager. He said all the right things, did it in the right tone, didn't make any crazy platitudinal statements.
Platitudinal.
Yeah, it didn't say anything that was going to shock you. Was real about the way that he's going to handle the players, accountability. I heard him with Craig and Evan as well. So he gets it. He understands it. And as a Met fan, I feel really good this morning. I feel like my team is in good shape. I like my center fielder. I like my number 2 starter, I guess, Max Scherzer. I like my manager. I like the guys that we brought in here. I feel a culture shift happening. I feel like this is a manager that when they get to spring training, assuming they get to spring training, and hopefully it's not a condensed spring training. And by the way, they asked him about that.
Yeah.
He had all the answers for that as well. He had the answers for analytics as well. He had the answers for holding players accountable. He said all the right things. And I feel like this is not like some guy that would just stick it in there because, he's somebody's buddy in Major League Baseball. That we have a real legitimate professional manager, just like when the Knicks hired Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah.
I felt the same way. I felt like, okay, we got a real coach that's going to preach defense, and somehow they got to the playoffs last year. They've had to stumble a little bit this year, and they should have won last night with the Detroit Pistons being the worst team in the league. And, Kemba Walker had another great game. So maybe this benching of Kemba Walker has actually worked because he has now come out in 2 games, and he's been on fire, and he's been the player that they hoped they were getting. So maybe a little reality check is helping Kemba Walker find his game again, and maybe that's the mind games that Thibodeau's playing. Who knows? But I felt good watching Buck Showalter go through his stuff, and I felt good watching the Knicks do their thing last night. And then you're right, the football games were exactly kind of like how you expected them to play. And here's the thing that I'm going to say about Jalen Hurts. And say whatever you want about his inaccuracy, or sometimes he throws the ball, it doesn't really go where it's supposed to go. But that kid is a competitor, man. Like, I want that kind of athlete as my quarterback if I can't have Aaron Rodgers, if I can't have, and I know that Philadelphia fans are hot and cold on him, but, think about his trajectory and where he is. He's not the 2nd overall pick in the draft.
No.
He's a 2nd rounder.
Sure.
And he runs around and makes plays and is competitive as all get out.
He had a miserable turnover in the first half, though, where he needed to get rid of the ball. He didn't. The ball got stripped from him as they were driving in. But after that, he got yelled at by Nick Sirianni. I don't know if you saw Nick Sirianni was in his ear screaming at him when he came off the field.
And the fact that he could take that kind of coaching.
And he came out and he played great after that. And boy, did he need that. Because you know what it's like in markets like that to
especially
play.
with Gardner Minshew coming off of the game against the Giants.
Yeah, 100%.
The thing that I always say is that when I watch a kid, like, I don't see the competitiveness from Zach Wilson yet. I never saw the competitiveness from Sam Darnold.
Well, I mean, neither one of those guys ever had confidence.
But the point being is, like, Philadelphia doesn't have a great team.
No.
I mean, they have a good team. They have good offensive linemen. They have
Their
good
defense is a top
linemen.
10 defense.
Yeah, I mean, and they play a physical brand of football. That's who they have. Fletcher Cox in the middle. Jason Kelsey in the middle. I mean, those are important guys and some of the best guys in the league at their respective positions. But ultimately, it comes down to that quarterback playing with energy, bringing energy to the team, and playing competitive. And given the fact that he had a transfer from Alabama because of Tua Tagovailoa, he goes to Oklahoma, then gets picked in the 2nd round, then takes over, for the Philadelphia Eagles last year, and then has the pressure coming back and starting this year, and it's got his team to 500. And like last night was a quintessential Jalen Hurts game. Running all over the place, make a play. That touchdown pass that he threw to his wide receiver when he was rolling to the right and he threw that back shoulder throw.
Yeah.
That was a great throw.
Well, how about the roll to the right in the 2nd quarter to Devontae Smith at the sideline, and Devontae Smith made that unbelievable catch and kept both of his feet in bounds. That was another incredible throw by him.
Yeah,
so yeah,
I'm not going to sit here and say that he's the Pro Bowl quarterback. I'm not saying that.
This was a big. The pressure was on him, squarely on him last night. You guys talk about pressure points on the NFL today. It's a segment that you do. The pressure point was squarely on Jalen Hurts. One, because they were playing a team that was totally decimated by COVID. You had the playoff situation, too, looming over them. And you had the Gardner Minshew performance that they were coming off of. I mean, he needed to play well last night, and it got off to a miserable start. I mean, you had that fluky turnover off of Dallas Goedert's heel to start off, and then the next possession, he fumbled. And I'm thinking they're down 10-0 to Garrett Gilbert in the Washington.
Didn't it kind of look like the Raiders against the Browns the other night?
Yeah, it was like crazy.
They were playing in the twilight zone. Like all of a sudden, all these crazy things were happening.
And you started to hear the boos already from the crowd, and obviously that crowd was all jazzed up on a Tuesday night, drunk and screaming. And he needed to come through right at that moment after that second turnover, and he did. So no, I felt the same way. I was impressed with him. I was very, very impressed with him.
And he threw the ball, for the most part, threw the ball well last night, better than I've seen him. But the point is, when I talk about a competitive desire, like you could see it.
Yeah.
You could see that kid just busting his ass. It's not pretty all the time. I'm not saying he's a top 5 quarterback. I'm just telling you, that guy won a game last night. And we haven't seen that from this quote. I think Daniel Jones is trying to do that, and this is why he ends up getting hurt.
Well, I think he did it once this year against New Orleans. That was it.
But I thought he did it against Dallas when he got hurt because he lowered his shoulder and he tried to score a touchdown.
Oh, you're talking about the competitive desire thing.
I'm talking about the competitive nature of the kid that's behind center and trying to bring his team along with him. And I'm sure a couple of those early mistakes, there was a lot of tension on the sideline of the Eagles. And yet, he still came out and played really well. Their defense played well, too. And let's face it, the fact that you're a quarterback of an NFL football team that was on the practice squad of the Patriots, and you sign on Friday.
And here you are on Tuesday, started. The fact that you knew any plays and any cadence and not every snap was a false start is a miracle.
If that would have been a quarterback for either the Jets or the Giants, it would have been a disaster.
Oh, my God.
It would have been – that kid Gilbert kept the game somewhat respectable.
Especially the Giants, all the problems that they have with getting play calls in and the play clock running down, all that crap that we see from them every week.
Yes, all the uncoordination.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, it really was. I mean, and the fact that he came out and they were up 10-0 too. He was throwing the ball down the field. I mean, they had to help with a couple of turnovers, but I mean, that was a miracle to me. Absolute miracle that they were able to get that.
You could write a movie over just that experience on Friday, getting a call, getting on a plane, getting to your team, trying to figure out the offense, and getting out there and actually starting an NFL game on a Tuesday night of all nights.
American Underdog 2.
Oh, yeah. But it was I don't know, it was exactly what we expected from those two teams. And your team got what they needed. They needed the Philadelphia Eagles to win. So you remain in the 7th spot of the playoffs in the NFC side.
Yeah, that's right. But they've got the Rams and the Packers coming up, and the Rams win again last night. And Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp just continue to be that combination. And we talk about guys that could be MVPs that aren't quarterbacks. What about Cooper Kupp?
Oh, he's had a great year.
I mean, for Christ's sakes, he's going to break every Rams receiving record, and that's no small feat because there's been guys like, Isaac Bruce who have played and Torrey Holt who have been in that uniform during the greatest show on turf. So the fact that he's going to break, the touchdown record and the yardage record for the Rams in probably 16 games, I don't think he's going to need that 17th game. Is one hell of a feat. I mean, every single week, this guy's 10 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown.
So here's my call, and I did a CBS Sports Minute on it a little bit later on.
CBS Sports 25 seconds?
Yeah. So I got in the AFC for my wild cards, I have the Colts.
Okay.
I have the Chargers. Mm-hmm. And who's the other team I put in there?
Colts, Chargers.
Bills.
Then the Bills. Okay.
Right.
Very good.
On the other side, so basically the wild cards that are there right now in the AFC. On the other side of the bracket for the NFC, I have the Cardinals, the 49ers, and the Saints as my wild cards.
What were the Saints' last 3 games? Do you know off the top of your head? I'll look them up.
Yes, so they play the Dolphins next week.
Okay. Dolphins, the hottest team in football.
Then I think the Panthers and the Falcons.
Oh. Yeah, and they got the Dolphins and Saints at home, too.
Right. Oof. Dolphins and Panthers.
Now, I know that the Dolphins, that's what I meant to say, the Dolphins and Panthers at home. I know that the Vikings have the tiebreaker over the Saints.
Yeah, but the Vikings are going to end up losing I believe they'll end up losing 2 of their 3 games.
Yeah.
Well, the Saints, I believe, could actually win out. That's what I'm counting on them winning out, especially after that defensive performance last week.
Yeah. That's the Monday night game, too, coming up. Dolphins
Miami
and Saints.
Yeah, that's a big game. It's a huge game for both teams because, Miami's on, a 6 or 7 game winning streak, and New Orleans has just been battling 7-7. Here they come. Can they get to 10 wins?
Watch this be the year that they end up getting back to the Super Bowl when nobody expected it, when every other year everybody picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
The other thing, too, is that I have the Cardinals as a wild card, not winning that division.
Yeah, you got the Rams coming up.
The Rams have been on fire now, and I have 49ers have been on fire. Yeah, 49ers are a really good team.
Doesn't there something about the Rams that annoys you, though? The fact that they've amassed so much talent and they've kind of become a villain in that way?
Yeah.
I feel the same way about the Rams this year after they got Odell Beckham Jr. as I did with the Patriots, with the Buccaneers last year when they got Antonio Brown.
And Gronkowski.
Well, no, because
how you feel about the Nets right now?
Yeah, kind of like it's just too much now.
Yeah.
You had your roster was fine. You went out and you got that one extra guy, and I don't care for either Odell Beckham Jr. or Antonio Brown. And I used to love Antonio Brown, but of course the guy's a knucklehead 1A.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.